Chasm and Judith Robert and Tom Kapasinskas. From historic downtown Plymouth, Indiana, where the Lincoln Highway and Michigan Road cross the banks of the beautiful Yellow River, it's the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour. Tonight, we have a new show coming to you inspired by the creative and necessary concept of social distancing. Playing tonight in our specially outfitted studio will be Diane Van Deurzen, Lisa Otey, and the returning Mount Olympus players Levi Crawford, Michelle Schricker, and me, your guest announcer and Hope College sophomore, Katie Smith. And now, recorded live from the Wild Rose Moon Performing Arts Center, divas of disinfectant, face-shielded shepherds of light, and the fastidious friends of Fauci. Here is the mystical masked maestro of all things lunar, or lunatic, your radio hour host, George Schricker.
The river goes round, around the bend. The river goes round, round, round to the very end. And when it stops, oh yeah, it starts again. Boy, won't be long till the river goes round. It won't be long till the river goes round and round and round. Wow, how great it is to be back here on the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour with our young intern from Hope College, Katie Smith. How are you today, Katie?
Oh, I'm grand. I'm glad to be back.
It's good to see you, and you've been doing all kinds of exciting things this summer?
Yeah, all kinds, especially interning for the Wild Rose Moon.
And what do you do when you're intern for us? What are the kinds of things you do?
Oh, there's all sorts of kinds of things. I work with Moonlight, the new streaming service type thing. It's very cool. We just had Miss Martina Sam last night, and that was wonderful.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And you do all the contacting of the artist, and you send them, you get them to send you bios and information back.
Yeah.
You get to work with John and on the show and Ryan. That's great.
Yeah. I was just working with these lovely ladies in the studio today.
I know, it's something, and we want to talk. I am so pumped today. I am so excited to have you two lovely ladies on our show.
Oh, we're so happy to be back, George.
Oh,
Thank
my
you, George.
gosh. From the minute I saw Diane and Lisa perform, I thought, you are like the perfect guests for the radio show.
Oh, thank you.
You are just so alive when you perform. And you've had a wonderful, interesting career. You traveled around the world and played in all kinds of places. And I just think your work is terrific. It's so life-giving. So give us a little life, will you?
Oh, thank you, George. Thank you. How about little Bessie Smith? I think so. Named after our pug. There ain't nothing I can do, nothing I can say, that folks don't criticize me. But I'm gonna do just as I want to anyway. I don't care if they all despise me. If I should take a notion and jump right in the ocean, well, it ain't nobody's business if I do. If I go to church on Sunday, then cabaret on Monday, well, it ain't nobody's business if I do. If my friend ain't got no money, and I say, take all of Diane's honey, you know it ain't nobody's business if I do, well, if I give you my last nickel and it puts you in a pickle. Well, it ain't nobody's business if I do. Take it, Lisa. If I see you on a crowded street, I run up and hug you and kiss you. When we meet, you know it ain't nobody's business if I do. If my baby and I stay in at night and we turn down all those lights, well, it ain't nobody's business if we do. If I spend all your dough playing Texas Hold'em at the casino, what do you think? Let's go. It ain't nobody's business if I do, if I do. Well, if I take all your dinero and buy a home in the Riviera, well, it ain't nobody's business. No, it ain't nobody's business. No, it ain't nobody's business if we do.
Oh, man. You are like a wall of sound that just, gets into my boogie and wants me to woogie.
That's exactly what we want to hear, George.
Oh, my gosh. That's just amazing. Listen, you have both very interesting backgrounds. Came from different places, very different places. And I sometimes wonder, how does that work out? My wife is from Iowa, and I'm from Indiana, right? And we talk about the differences, a little bit from time to time. So I just wonder, can you feel those differences sometimes, or talk about those amongst yourselves?
Well, kind of. I think they complement each other. I grew up in Wisconsin, a very small rural community, and Lisa grew up in Portland. And but we met in Arizona. We both had been living in Arizona. Lisa moved there in 84, and I moved there in 91. And so we were already Arizonans for a little while. And so I think the little differences that we have complement each other.
But one thing we have in common is we both grew up on a farm.
No, we didn't. Lisa always says she grew up on a farm, but her parents had a garden. I grew up on a farm. I milked cows in the morning.
Well, my parents told me it was a farm.
Yeah.
And it was in a rural community, Boring, Oregon.
Yeah.
Small community like Combined Locks, Wisconsin. And but yeah, I had no idea. It wasn't an actual farm. It was a bunch of musicians trying to get their hands dirty.
Yeah. Well, I can relate. My own mother thought so fondly of moving back to the area when she was in Indianapolis, and she moved back. And they bought a 20-acre piece of land that they put into wildlife, and they promptly called it the farm.
Exactly. But one thing that, what I love about what Diane brings to our music is she has such a depth, as you can feel, the sensuality, the emotion, the feeling that she puts into every lyric comes
it's so true.
From all of her
So
life
true.
experience.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And so I guess give us another song. I do want to talk about your world travels, so I want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
But I am so excited to hear you play again that I can't wait.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Well, this is one written by Ida Cox, and Ida was considered the uncrowned lady of the blues, and she also did, this was considered one of the first feminist anthems for women, and back in 1924. And of course, the last verse that I sing, every song that we sing, we write our own verses with it. So the last verse I sing is a little personal, but it's basically saying, come on, women, no matter how hard you have it, just never get the blues.
You hear these women raving about their monkey men, about their childish ex-husbands and their no-good friends. These poor women sit around all day and moan, wondering why their wandering papas don't come home. But wild women do not worry, right, Katie? Wild women never get the blues.
Now when you got a man, don't ever be on the square, 'cause if you do, he'll have a woman everywhere. I've never been known to keep just one man right.
What'd you do?
I keep him working hard both day and night. Wild women do not worry.
Wild women never get the blues. Well, he's got a sweet disposition and a mind of your own. And if your man starts kicking, let him find a new home. You get full of good mojitos and walk the streets all night. Go home and put your man out if he don't treat you right. Wild women do not worry. Wild women never get the blues.
To have a man that was evil and cruel. He'd hurt me and he'd use me, now he's someone else's fool. But I didn't sit alone and cry all night.
What'd you do?
I left that no good man and now I'm doing all right. Wild women do not worry.
Wild women never get the blues. Well, you never get nowhere being an angel child. You better spread your wings, baby, and get real wild. I'm gonna tell you something, I won't tell you no lie. Wild women are the only kind that really get by. I tell you, wild women do not worry. Wild women never get the blues. Thank you.
Woo! Woo!
Now, George, that doesn't apply to any of the men in this room.
That's right.
Hey, you know, it's okay. It's okay. I happen to be a big believer in women, actually. So I'm doing my best. I wake up every morning. I have it right by my bed.
Perfect.
Believe in women.
That's awesome, George.
Yeah, it means a lot. You know. No, I don't mean to be facetious, but I do try to work at it as a man. Okay, back to you. Okay, I want to talk about going to Europe. You went to Europe. You played in a lot of different places. Well, give me an idea what that's like. You know, we're from a small town here, and some of us, like myself, we never get out of our cages. So I was hoping that you could tell us something about one of your experiences.
Sure. I think, well, one of the best places I think we went to, I mean, we've been in Paris and the Netherlands and in Spain, but there was a club in Paris that I really liked. And in Europe, the gig starts at 11 o'clock at night, and it goes to like 2 in the morning. So it's just... So we were at this gig, and it was the week of Christmas, wasn't it, Lisa? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was all the clubs are really small, and at that time they were smoking in the clubs, and I realized that's where Billie Holiday sang, and I was stepping on the same floor that Billie Holiday stepped on, and it was just like it just puts you in another realm. So that was just inspirational. But there's been so many beautiful places that we've sung at, and all over Europe and in the Netherlands.
And
what about you, Lisa?
Well, a couple of those clubs in Paris were really nice because the gig lasted for a week.
Yeah.
And then there was a club in Spain that we also played at that lasted for a week. So you really got time to get to know the place, you know. Because usually you're on a plane all night, and you land in the morning, you get on a train, and you get off and you get on stage and you perform, and then, you know, you get back on the bus or you get back on the train and you go to the next town and you do the next show. And so you don't usually get a lot of time to experience a place. But those weeks that we played in Paris, those were really nice. Right. And then there was also like a festival we played in Lucerne, Switzerland that was like that, where every night we sang in a different hotel. And it was a beautiful festival of musicians from all over the world. And so we all got to play together at the end too. And so those were my favorites. And well, Diane's personal favorite is when we got to play in Australia.
Oh, gosh.
And Diane only could stay for the weekend.
I was still teaching. I was a teacher.
A weekend in Australia.
So we flew out, and we got into Australia on Friday. You know, you crossed the international date line. And then we didn't realize we landed in Sydney, and our promoter took us to, it was a Threadbow Blues Festival. And we were the only U.S. act, and it was a 6-hour drive. So now we have been on the plane for, 17 hours.
After a 10-hour layover
After a 10-hour
in San Francisco.
layover. And so we finally get to Threadbow. We were supposed to be on 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Because our promoter kept stopping for coffee. And I said, I have to wash my face and at least put on some makeup, you know. And then we were the only U.S. act there, so we weren't very well known. But we played Friday night, several times on Saturday, and then all Sunday. And then as we played, more people came to see us, and we ended up, they put us out in the street because there were so many people. And then we drove back down the mountain, and I had to fly out the next day. I had school the next day, and my third graders came into class and say, Miss Van Deurzen, how are you? I went, just sit down.
But still, what a gift of a story.
It was fun.
Oh, my Lord. It was worth every minute.
It was worth every minute.
Every minute.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, what kind of time, you don't have a little something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do you have something, a little something?
Okay. We could do Get Happy.
Sure.
Want to do that? Okay. Now we love this community so much that when we sang here last year, you said everybody in Plymouth gets a hug. Yeah. You know, and we still feel that embrace from you, even here with all our masks and our plexiglass separating
and
us.
6 feet distance.
Yeah, but this is our wish for everybody here
and
in
at the
Plymouth.
Wild Rose.
Yeah. Forget your troubles.
Happy day.
Come on, get happy.
Here again.
The sun will chase
the skies
the clouds away.
Are clear again.
Shout hallelujah.
So tell the world.
Come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining.
All together.
Come on, get happy.
Shout it now.
The Lord is
There's
waiting
no one here.
to take your hand.
Doubt it now.
Shout hallelujah.
So tell the world.
Come on, get happy.
About it now. Happy
We're headed for the promised land. We're headed across the river. Soon your cares will all be gone.
There'll be no more from now on.
From now on, forget your troubles.
Happy days.
Come on, get happy.
Here again.
You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah.
So sing a song.
Come on, get happy.
Again.
Happy times. Happy nights.
Happy nights.
Happy days are here again.
Thank you.
Woo! Woo!
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to have a complete change of scene. And we're going to do a radio play, and then we're going to come back and we're going to hear and talk to you some more. Would that be all right?
Thanks, Jordan.
Sounds wonderful.
Okay, and you can just enjoy the play as it unfolds and see where it goes.
With support from Judith Robert and Tom Kapasinskas, the Marshall County Community Foundation, Marshall County Tourism, and the Friends of the Wild Rose Moon, you're listening to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour.
Back to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour. It's so great to have you joining us on the radio show today. And with us we have Levi Crawford, one of the players in Katie Smith's fine series. It's now become a series of scripts and soon young adult novels. Anyway, it should be very exciting, but I was just thinking, what is it? You're from Ball State? And not communications, you've just passed through some sort of portal, right?
Yeah. I'm a Ball State, actually, I guess returning freshman, even though I should be a junior. But I went in this past year as they call it theater creations option, which is like a general theater major.
Yes.
And then I passed through the portal, as you said, and re-auditioned and made my way into their BFA acting program.
How terrific. Hey, let's all give him a hand on the set, man.
Woo!
Thank you.
You know, you want to talk about a hard profession, you know, it's just like singer-songwriters, man. They're all just working their butts off, and actors work so hard at what they do. So that's great. That's great. I was wondering if you could act for us today and take over a radio play.
Yeah, I would love to. I have just been busting at the seams to get back to this splendiferous Mount Olympus studio. The clouds, the blue sky, the white marble. It's a picture-perfect stage for our little show, I must say. Aren't you excited, Athena?
Dear brother Apollo, I will admit I was quite hesitant after our last radio show. You had me so riled up I had to take refuge in my happy place.
Happy place? Where's that?
Oh, the Peabody Library. The smell of the books, the sculptured woodwork, the raw power of the knowledge. You know, they call it the Cathedral of Books because it's just so vast in volumes. Sometimes I grab an old weathered tome and lay right in the middle of the atrium, facing all of the power of the balconies, completely surrounded by nothing but glorious books.
Heaven to Athena. Come in, Athena.
Right. Anyway, that's all besides the point. You've just been so sweet this week, Apollo. It was like real character development. You were so positive and kind. I really felt as though something had changed in your heart.
Hey, don't go that far. All I did was help Homer shoot the music video for his hit song From No Man to Every Man that he shared in last month's episode.
And that's growth. You've come a long way since your scandal with Hecate, goddess of magic.
She's a talented woman, but she just wouldn't take any direction. No notes, she said. I don't need notes. I'm a goddess. Please. Goddess? Barely. I'm Apollo. I'm one of the 12 Olympians. Ugh. I hate those lesser gods.
Nonetheless, I'm very excited to be back in our sunny radio hour studio. The white marble columns really remind me of old Greece. How I miss her rolling shores and intelligent architecture. Oh, people just don't build like they used to. These high ceilings really give you room to think. No wonder there were so many great thinkers. Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, Archimedes.
Greece was good to me, but the West is where it's at. Rock bands, skyscrapers, and best of all, leather pants. So, let's live in the now and forget the past, shall we? Why don't we get things started? Hermes, my boy, give us a glorious welcome back.
far above the troubles of civilization, soaring like a beautiful eagle amongst the clouds. It's the Mount Olympus Radio Hour, the only show in the world where the gods give their benevolent opinions to lowly mortals. Tonight's host, you know them, you love them. It's the perfect pitch professor and the calculated and cunning curator. Yes, it's Apollo and Athena.
From the mountain of the gods, Athena and Apollo host a radio show. We command the waves. It's a radio show.
Let's get into the sponsors of today's radio show. Coitus, have you seen a baby bird lately? Perhaps an infant deer frolicking in a nearby field. Give your thanks to the god of intercourse and my personal enemy, Eros. And our second sponsor of the night, have you seen a big burning ball of light in the sky? What's that? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the sun, made possible by me, of course, your strong and hunky host Apollo.
Welcome back, sweet mortals. I so wish you could join us today. Hephaestus put in a lovely stadium this week. It looks just like the Colosseum. We'd love to have you mortals filling the stands, but unfortunately, we must adhere to social distancing.
Which I don't understand because we're gods. We're immune to everything.
But our guest is not. We care about her safety, listeners. Don't we, Apollo?
Yeah, whatever. I'm also the god of healing, so it really doesn't make any difference, does it? If it gets in the stadium, all I need to do is wiggle my piano player fingers and boom, no pandemic.
Then why don't you just fix this in the first place?
Are you kidding? I gave the world artists and nurses. I am the reason you mortals can sink into a bubble bath at the end of a long day. Candles burning and Michael Bublé softly serenading you. A little bubble with the Bublé. That sounds nice.
Oh, you pampered princess. Mortals, know that I, Athena, goddess of wisdom, actually care to give back to you.
You know what, Athena? The world, my world, would be better off if you goddesses would just butt out.
That is the most callow thing I have ever heard you say. I refuse to entertain it. Let's not waste any more time. Now, without further ado, today's guest is an extremely intelligent and strikingly beautiful woman whom we are very lucky to have today.
Oh, she's possibly the most stylish guest we've ever had. Maybe the most stylish one here. Except for me, of course. I am the most fabulous. Today, I have on a luxurious red pair of slacks. My luscious curls shine and dance in the wind. My blue eyes sparkle and gleam with a mischievous yet kind aura. My muscular calves.
Get over yourself already. You're turning into Narcissus, you narcissist. Please, help us welcome a woman truly ahead of her time, Ada Lovelace.
Lovelace. Oh, it sounds like a poem, doesn't it? Ada Lovelace, Ada Lovelace. Not the prettiest name I've ever heard. That trophy goes to Willem Dafoe, but she definitely makes top 10.
Lady Lovelace, we are so blessed to have you today.
Thank you, Athena. Seriously, it really is such an honor to be on the show today. When I listened to your first episode with Homer, I felt somewhat inadequate. I mean, practically everyone has heard of Homer. He's actually part of mainstream curriculum, unlike me.
The gods know of your great contributions, Ada. I promise you are completely up to par.
Don't humble yourself, Ada. We're not here to talk to losers. Although Homer was kind of a loser at first. I mean, it's not easy for me to just put my grudges aside.
Let's stay on task, shall we?
Right. What I'm saying is, you're fabulous, you're gorgeous, and you're smartable. No reason to worry.
Excuse me, what is smartable?
Really, Athena? Wow, this is embarrassing. Here's a little English lesson. Smartable. Smart, able. Able to be smart. Duh. Geez, and she calls me the dumb one.
Ada, dear, this is your time to shine. Please help me guide the conversation. What is it you'd like to talk about?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Athena. Being a woman historical figure is not an easy job. It's an even harder legacy to hold. Oftentimes, my work goes discredited or completely uncredited. Men in the current computer industry claim that my close friend and peer, Charles Babbage, is the true author of my work. I love Babbage, but that is simply not true.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Lady Lovelace, but you were 17 when you began work with mathematician Charles Babbage, right?
Yes, I was 24 years his junior, but that wasn't an issue. We were academic peers. I was trained in the sciences and mathematics my entire life. I was born in 1815, so it wasn't exactly easy for me to obtain my education. But lucky for me, my father had connections.
Wait, wasn't your father the famous poet Lord Byron?
Yes, but my mother always said poetry was fickle.
Oh, Byron's words make even a sexy god like me want to feel the grips of mortality. The great art of life is sensation, to feel that we exist even in pain. Don't words like that make your heart just want to soar?
Yes, they do, Apollo. Her father is a very talented man.
I wonder who his muse was. Maybe your mother.
No, I doubt that. He was pretty distracted with other romances.
Well, no mind either way. He really was a special mortal. Some of them do nothing with their talents. Be born, rot, die, a repeat. It's so boring, but your father? Now, he could pen some remarkable thoughts.
I think we should focus on our guest, Apollo.
Listen, I'm just giving credit where credit is due. I'm sure little Miss Lovelace with all her computer jargon is just fine, but this is one of the greatest literary masterminds of all time we're talking about. A true artist, a great wordsmith, a lover of language,
Now listen here, Apollo.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Oh, yes, she did.
I did not come here to be overshadowed by my own father, who isn't even here, I might add.
Are you talking back to moi? To a god?
As a matter of fact, I am. I have spent far too long holding my tongue, letting my legacy be tarnished, stepped on, and thrown to the dust, or, God's forbid, my original work's glory is given to a man. I am more than that. I am worth more.
I was going to smite you, but I'm mighty impressed. I love the moxie you hold, such ferocity, such power. It really is quite alluring.
Are you kidding? She is not going to fall for you. She's great, not because of her looks, but because of her clever mind and courageous heart. Ada, that was incredible. That took guts. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Athena.
I wasn't being misogynistic. I was just trying to say...
I think it's our duty to help you clear your name, Lady Lovelace. Don't you agree, Apollo?
The way I see it, she had plenty of time to clear her name when she was alive. But since we need more content for the episode, I suppose it's fine.
Well, I am considered to be the first computer programmer, even though I lived in the 19th century long before the computer's invention. Charles Babbage, my friend who I mentioned before, had me translate a written transcript written by Italian Prime Minister and engineer Luigi Menabrea. As I translated, I took notes that turned out to become the world's first computer algorithm. My work became paramount to the initial designing and creation of the computer that mortals like me know and love today.
Wow, that is just incredible, Ada. I'm surprised I never sponsored you, as I so love to do. You see, I find someone brilliant and I help urge them along. However, I don't think you would have needed it.
Well, even today in 2020, scientists and professionals attempt to claim that I had no influence at all, that I was simply Charles Babbage's student and nothing more. I was not his student. We were peers.
I am blown away by you, Ada.
Me too. Specifically the beautiful adorned buns you wear. And the other kinds of buns you possess. What are you doing later, Miss Lovelace?
Oink, oink goes the sexist pig. She was not invited for you to hit on her. She was invited to tell her story. I will banish you from this studio if I must. Don't test me, brother.
Okay. I'll back off. I'm trying to pay attention. I just get bored. Science is not my thing, Athena.
It better become your thing, or I will send my wise-ass troop on you.
Excuse me?
My battalion of extremely clever donkeys.
Hey, if I just could interrupt this sibling altercation, I would like to encourage listeners out there to continue their education of history past high school. Not just our listeners, but you too, Apollo. I think some heightened knowledge of women's history might serve you well. You see, the modern education system leaves out a lot of women like myself, as well as people of color. The history you were taught is only a small fraction of all the amazing and brilliant humans out there. So next time you're on the computer, don't forget about me. Next time you have a grand idea, don't forget about me. If a young 17-year-old in 19th century Britain can do it, so can you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight, Ada. We are truly lucky to be able to help you tell your story.
I can't believe I got to meet Lord Byron's daughter. Put in a good word for me, will you?
Well, before we go, I'd like to recite a poem I've written, if you don't mind.
We'll see if you can live up to your dad's legacy.
Oh, your childish outbursts don't bother me, Apollo. I call this poem New World Interface. Time has begun to escape me. Life keeps going, tech keeps making, but my legacy seems to slip, slide, and drip through my fingertips. Instead, passed down from skeptical man to skeptical man, twisted and turned in their calluses and curves. Legacy is an island I'll never get to see, a figure confided and pushed aside in the mist of fog and history. Feminists scream history and beg for her story. We fail to see that it is my story, their story, his and her story. Make a list of the women you were taught in school. Does it come up short? Now make a list of the people of color, the women of color you learned about. Does it come up short? The world moves on, and I am not in the least astonished. It pushes through in this high-speed 4G, fast LTE universe, while my work, my world, my worth is Control, Alt, deleted altogether. I am not a statistical outlier. This is a skewed algorithm, the overwritten, spoken over truth of the matter. My truth was hacked, a false Wikipedia page stamped over my history. Men log out of my account and let me log in. Let me code this story, written in binary. This is her genuine glory. I am more than a pretty portrait, more than a poet's daughter or a simple self-starter in need of a male teacher to teach her everything she'll ever know. My tutor was Mary Somerville, a woman smarter than me, elevated and updated my internal software until I shined, a morning prayer spoken over the future of our world. I urge you, listen before you speak. If you are lucky, like a pop-up window, you will hear me. With me, we see a battalion of those unheard. Herd us together and encrypt our stories on the hard drive of your mind, because we, all my forgotten brothers and sisters and me, are the new world interface.
Wow. Lord Byron would be proud. And if he's not, I am. Snaps, snaps, all the snaps. And Ada, I should not have written you off as just a pretty face. I mean, you are one, but you are also so much more. I would like to extend an honest apology.
Thank you, Apollo. Apology accepted. Thank you both for being such gracious hosts and letting me speak my truth. It was an honor. Also, that whole fresco is just lovely. I see what Homer was saying about the glorious fruit.
That's not fruit, it's...
Thank you, Miss Lovelace. Yes, Hephaestus did a wonderful job. We'd like to thank our sponsors one last time. Marriage! Do you have a little romance brewing with a special someone? Get hitched today. Brought to you by Hera, goddess of tying the knot. And our last sponsor, the icy grip of death. Have you or a loved one recently passed away? Are you unsure of where to say your final goodbyes? Consider Hades Family Funeral Home, the only one-way ticket to the underworld.
With that, take it away, Hermes.
Thank you all for listening tonight. From all of us here, we leave you with a desire to advance intellectually. Go learn about a new hero or heroine and uncover your history. From everyone here in the studio tonight, Athena, Apollo, Ada Lovelace, and me, your announcer, Hermes, we bid you farewell from the Mount Olympus Radio Hour. Wow, that was fun.
With support from Judith Robert and Tom Kapasinskas, Marshall County Community Foundation, Marshall County Tourism, and the Friends of the Wild Rose Moon. You're listening to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour.
Well, welcome back to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour. We are so excited to be here today because we have Lisa Otey and Diane Van Deurzen here, and they are sharing everything they got with us.
Thanks, George.
It's quite something. Hey, tell me, Lisa, if you would, tell me a little bit about your history with the piano. You know,
Sure.
That's a really interesting history.
Well, you know, George, when I was a little girl, my parents took me to the music store and they said, pick out your instrument. You know, they said, so I said, I'll play the violin. That was my dad's instrument. He was a symphony violinist. And after I was 4 years old, and after a couple of years, I said, you know, I really want to switch to the piano, which is my mom's instrument. And she said, you can't just flit around from instrument to instrument. You have to be serious. And so she said if I was still asking a year later for my piano lessons, then I could have them. And so for that year, she taught me all the theory, how to write the notes down, and, you know, all the things about reading music. And then when I was 7 years old, I was still asking for my piano lessons, so I got them. But I didn't realize till years later that you really don't have to be that serious at the age of 6.
Well, nonetheless, it served you well to be so serious.
Thank you, George.
You are very accomplished, and you have this whole story about. Are you going to introduce this? I don't want to have this introduced or attached to a song, but I want to talk a little bit about the Pine Top Perkins thing. You know, a little bit because that's so
sure,
interesting.
because his story takes place in Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we knew Pine Top for years, like coming to Arizona, singing at the local blues clubs, and then 1 year in LaPorte, Indiana, he had an incident with the train, where he tried to beat the train to get to McDonald's on time to get his little hamburger and apple pie. Well, the way he tells the story, I haven't been to LaPorte. We drove by this exit sign, but I don't know if this is how true this story is. Probably parts of it are true. But he said he saw the train coming. He thought, I could beat that train. But he didn't. He did, but he didn't see the other train coming in the opposite direction, and that train hit his car and knocked him into a tree. He had 35 stitches in his head and a broken arm, but he was in the middle of making a record that would get him a Grammy nomination that year, and he still had 5 or 6 songs left to finish. So his manager called me and asked if I would come in as Pine Top, you know, to play like him to help him finish his record. So that's quite a tribute.
That's an amazing story, isn't it? That's a great story. Well, let's show us a little bit of that Pine Top stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Right now.
Well, we're gonna do a tune that I wrote, and this one was for Candy Kane. I don't know if you ever all got to hear Candy Kane, the great burlesque blues queen.
And since you were talking about the power of women, we decided to switch the song because this is all about the power of women.
I get up pretty early after working late at night, checking in my mirror, making sure I look just right. Lord have mercy, I sure like what I see. Hard-working woman, you sure look good to me.
Well, I'm ready and I'm willing, satisfaction guarantee. Ain't nothing I can do, I'm always up to speed. I've come a long way, baby. I've got plenty on my mind. Hard-working woman, you sure look mighty fine.
Hard-working woman,
hard-working woman,
you're a hard-working woman,
hard-working woman,
hard-working woman, a beautiful sight to see. Yeah. A hard-working woman, you sure look good to me.
Ma Rainey, Empress, Beth C, Gertrude Stein and Alice B, Elizabeth, Katie Stanton and Susan B. Anthony,
Gabrielle and Zena, don't forget about RBG. Hard-working women, you sure look good to me. Hard-working woman,
hard-working woman,
you're a hard-working woman,
hard-working woman,
a hard-working woman, a beautiful sight to see. Yeah, a hard-working woman, you sure look good to me. Be proud of where you came from, even proud of where you are.
Don't let them tear you down, you're the best by far.
Look all around you, don't you love what you see? A hard-working women, you all look good to me. A hard-working woman,
hard-working woman,
you're a hard-working woman,
hard-working woman,
a hard-working woman, a beautiful sight to see. Yeah. A hard-working woman, you sure look good to me. A hard-working women, you all look good to me. Thank you.
Well, you know how to rock this house.
Well, thank you, George.
You know, it's just something else. Wow, I'm swept off my feet by you two. You are so much energy, so much passion in what you do. It's just incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
and we want to honor you guys for all that you're doing here to keep the Wild Rose Moon alive.
Yeah.
Doing your Facebook concerts and your radio show.
And your radio show. What a wonderful place, and your show is amazing. It's informative, it's funny, it's
so
entertaining, and your actors are just amazing.
Aren't
Just
they
wonderful.
great? They're
Yeah,
just
it's
great.
fantastic.
Yeah, they really are.
So
What a lovely show.
we've been so blessed to have Katie Smith's Energies with us this summer, and she deserves a big
Fantastic.
round. She really does everything that I should be doing. So it's really quite amazing. But she does them all very well. Anyway, I want to get back to you. Now, you have a theater background. I saw that. Let's talk a little bit about that, because what kind of theater did you do? I did a little theater.
I did a lot of theater. How it all started out is as a child, I really wanted to play an instrument, but my parents were immigrants from the Netherlands, and there wasn't a lot of money, and there were I have 7 siblings. So I said, I really wanted to learn how to play the piano, and my dad said no. And so he took me into the music store, and he said, you have to pick the cheapest instrument. So it was the clarinet. And then I then I didn't like the embouchure of my mouth on the clarinet, so I got a trumpet. And I was part of jazz band in elementary school and middle school. And at one point, the vocalist couldn't come to our rehearsal. So my teacher said, Diane, why don't you sing, the part? And he said, Diane, put down the trumpet. You don't play it that well anyways, and just be a vocalist.
Yeah,
and
yeah. He heard it. He heard it.
He heard it.
Yeah, he heard it. That's
And-
great.
and
It takes someone to hear it.
It does, and someone to tell you it's okay.
Yeah,
it's
it
okay.
does. It's so important.
And then I started getting involved in theater in high school, and that's where I got the bug for theater. And then community theater, where I was from in Wisconsin.
I mean, did you do anything that we would know, stock kind of
Oh,
stuff?
yeah. Well, I did like cabaret with Sally Bowles, and
Oh, really?
my outfit was all leather belts. That's all my outfit was. It's strategically placed leather belts.
Wow.
But yeah, I played Guinevere. I played
In
Come Back
Camelot?
Yeah, in Camelot.
Oh,
I
that's
just,
such a beautiful.
Oh gosh, I can't think of them all. I just Into the Woods. Played the Baker's Wife.
I think it's such a neat thing, all those musicals, because they all represent a lot of different composers.
Right.
And it's like each composer has their own sort of special something,
Yeah.
and it's like getting to know all the hearts of all these really wonderful people,
Stephen Sondheim, though, he's a wonderful writer, but he's so hard to sing.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I love him, but every time we'd get it's like, oh, Stephen Sondheim.
I do a song from Company in the shower, but it's not great. It's not great. Anyway, so you did that theater, and then when did you two come across each other?
Oh, that's a good question. We were both singing at this church, this local church. Lisa was the piano player there, and I was in the choir. And I taught theater in the church, and I did children's theater and adult theater, and wore many hats in theater, and plus performed. And Lisa said, we need another person to sing in our little trio. And so we started singing together, and instant friendship, and then an instant love started. And
And then when we got together, we decided to combine our talents and have our duo. So in 2005, we started touring.
Yeah.
And Diane was still teaching school at the time, so she was only free for those weekends in Australia, or on her spring break or fall break or something. And and then after a while, Diane made the shift to full-time musician, full-time creative person, and it's just been the best thing.
Lisa had to talk me into it, because I grew up, you have a paycheck every week, and she said, Diane, you could do it, and so I just left education early, and didn't get the retirement that I could have gotten if I stayed in, but that was okay, because it has been so wonderful to actually go to all of these places and be able to stay a little while.
And it's really, I find the whole performing thing seems to be about building friendships.
It is.
Sure.
It's really about building friendships, and with all these marvelous people. And that's what's so great about a place like Wild Rose Moon. All these people are coming through, and they're all great to be friends with.
Absolutely.
They're so super, and they've got big hearts, and it helps feed you.
Mm-hmm.
And since the middle of March, when all of our regular gigs had been canceled, we've moved our concert stage into our living room. And you came to our show a few times, our living room lunchtime concerts, and which are continuing on Tuesdays. We still do them every Tuesday on our Facebook page, Diane and Lisa.
And you have some albums.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we have.
Some CDs.
And yes, thank you, George. And but one of the things that's been really nice about the living room concerts is that people like you, George, came on, and people have been coming in from all over the world, just chatting with us online during the show and requesting songs, and it's really helped us feel this connection to everyone throughout this time.
And it's been, those concerts have given us something that having a regular concert with people, in a building, can't do, because we have friends from Spain that have come on.
That's happened here too.
Yeah, our friends from the
Exactly.
Netherlands, and it's been so wonderful we feel like they're really in our living room, and we were going mad not singing and performing, and so it was really for sanity, for our sake, to do that.
And you do that here every Friday?
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, not every Friday. We do it every other Friday.
Oh, fantastic.
Sponsored by Gibson Insurance.
Oh, thank you, Gibson
Gibson
Insurance.
Thank
Foundation.
you.
We're very generous with their helping us do that. And that really, those monies were originally dedicated to open mic. But when
Sure.
open mic had to close, we had to try to figure out what to do about it. And so that was our answer, Moonlight.
See how resourceful you are?
It is.
It's fantastic.
Well, that's really the people around me are this fountain of resources.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, let's do another song. Let's do.
Okay.
Okay.
Can
this-
you?
yeah.
Is this down tempo or up tempo?
It's up.
It's up tempo.
Oh, good, because I want to rock.
Yeah, this next song I wrote, we had just came to St. Joe, and we have good friends there, and we were looking for a house to buy, and I had some money from my teacher salaries, and so we bought a fixer-upper, 100-year-old fixer-upper, and on the flight home, Lisa was really sad because she said, I can't contribute anything.
I left all my money
financially.
at the casino.
Yeah, she left all her money at the casino. So I said, honey, don't worry, you've got what I want. And she said, song title. And so as we flew home, I wrote this song. And so it's a blues song with a little metaphor about all the things you want but you don't need, because all you need is love in your life. That shiny new car is mighty fine, but rev your engine next to mine. You got what I want. You got what I want. Don't have to buy me a thing. You got what I want.
It's not your credit cards or your diamond ring. It's the way you shake that thing. You got what I want. You got what I want. Don't have to buy me a thing. You got what I want. Well, you can break the bank, cover me with pearls. That would be so nice. But baby, it's your sweet lovin' that takes me to paradise. Don't have to fly first class with those wide leather seats. You close beside me makes my life compete. You got what I want. Buckle up, baby. You got what I want. Don't have to buy me a thing. You got what I want. You can give me all the things that my heart desires, all the riches you find, but I would turn them all down not with you. I've got you on my mind. It's not the French pastry on those fine china plates. It's a sweet way you don't hesitate. You got what I want. You got what I want. Don't have to buy me a thing. You got what I want. Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Oh, baby, that is something. Man, you just go inside and you grab a hold of somebody and you will not let go. It's
Not
just
let go.
amazing. The whole room is vibrating with that great joy that you put in. And it's amazing. I think that would be my best word. I think joy. It's absolutely pure, absolute joy to listen to every song you do. They're just so well crafted and also so lovingly, shared. So lovingly shared. So, what a glorious gift.
Thank you, George. That's very sweet. Oh my gosh.
And thank all of you. Thank you for creating such a beautiful, warm, intimate space where everybody feels so loved who comes here.
Well, it's just a grand thing to have you on the program. And is there anything you'd like to say in closing? I don't care, whatever you want.
Well, you kind of summed it up when you said, to us, music and art is about the connections we make and the love we bring to people. And with this pandemic going on, we miss that connection. And coming here, it's instantaneously back. It's always there. It's just, And that's the beauty that art brings, is it connects people to love, to passion, to joy.
I know, and I'm going to take a turn away from you for a minute and just turn out into the room for a second, because it's all these people who really make this and bring this together. It's just an incredible crew here. And I guess just applaud yourselves, I guess, you know. Just terrific. They all work so hard, you know, to bring it off. So thank you so much for having.
Oh,
for
we
being
can't
here.
thank you enough, George, and everybody for having us back here. We just love this place so much, and we feel like it's our second home.
Oh, that's great. Well, we want to continue to endorse that feeling, and be an open door for you. So
Thank you.
let us know when you want to play.
Wild Rose Moon has been produced with support from Marshall County Community Foundation, Marshall County Tourism, Judith Robert and Tom Kapasinskas, and the Friends of the Wild Rose Moon. You've been listening to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour.
Thank you so much, Katie, and thanks so much to Diane Van Deurzen and Lisa Otey, and the Mount Olympus players, Levi Crawford, Michelle Schricker, Katie Smith for appearing on our radio show today. Thanks also to John Baylor, our music producer, and Nate Butler, the co-producer and sound engineer. Our associate producer, Elena Peacock. Jim Yoakum, our video producer. Matthew Bergmoser, our photographer. Howard Gibbs, our stage manager. Marsha Heinsberger, our set designer. Jean Pazdurka, Jennifer Reed, our hospitality team. Mark Woolever, our resident Buddha and glass engineer. And our Geek Squadron leader, J.R.R.R. Berger. John, did you properly pasteurize and disinfect your rock and roll soul this week?
I did not pasteurize, George. I like it raw. So when you think you've lost that life,
Oh boy.
all pain and heartache,
Woo-wee.
fill your soul with strife. Just remember, as you're tumbling down,
It won't be long
it won't be long till the river goes round.
The river goes round, around the bend. River goes round, round, round till the very end. And when it stops, it starts again. It won't be long till the river goes round. Everybody, the river goes round, around the bend. The river goes round, round, round till the very end. And when it stops, it starts again. It won't be long till the river goes round. It won't be long till the river goes round and round and round. You light up my life. Oh my God.
Hey, John, you had kind of a bad chord in there,
On
kind
the,
of early on in the outro song there, right?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Would you guys shoot me if we kind of picked up where George left off about pasteurizing your
Oh, you mean
or
you
whatever
want us?
that was?
You want us to do the whole ending?
Yeah, no, just from that part. I mean, we can, as long as we get close on the tempo, we'll be all right.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of after that, where just right where we start
What'd I do
singing
with
the
my
song.
freaking?
Well, that's just right when I started singing, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So play through the progression once and then jump into the song.
I probably had just I'd been playing it instrumentally for a while, but was probably just vamping during that.
Exactly.
So I don't think George needs to say anything.
No, he doesn't.
So when you think you've lost that life, oh, pain and heartache fill your soul with strife. Just remember, as you're tumbling down, it won't be long till the river goes round.
The river goes round. Oh, is that enough?
Sure, we'll make that work.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll make that work.
Okay.
All right. Any other redos? There was one other thing I noticed. The song coming out of the play, or no, the intro to the play maybe had a little bit.
I thought that's one you were talking about when you said the bad chord.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Would we be able to do that song real quick?
Which song?
It's the one that's the
Theme song.
intro of the play, and we don't need any of the dialogue surrounding it. We just need that.
Oh, the song.
Yeah.
Nothing so profound and great.
Right. As
No,
a moment
well,
with
we
me.
forgot that, didn't we? I guess.
Well,
Sorry.
next time.
That's all right. You could see that.
Do I need to play that instrumentally for a while? Because I was playing it under his talking. It will be a lot harder for me to match tempo on that.
Yeah. Just go ahead and play it. The intro, and then.
Well, do I read?
No.
Okay.
No dialogue, just the song.
So I'm doing instrumental lead up into it. Okay, well that would be a lot easier if you would read it.
Okay.
Script. You have the script, honey?
I have the page.
Oh, I'm reading the whole. Oh, I need mine, don't I?
No, you're fine. It's the opening, not the ending.
Oh, the opening. We're doing the opening. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. So you're playing under my intro.
Yeah.
Okay. Where I'm going far above the troubles of civilization.
Yeah, I started at the end of that first line. I'll do that again.
Well, don't you have to do the sound effect again?
No, just like I said, I started after your first line anyway.
Okay. So I'm just reading, right? Far above all the troubles of civilization, soaring like a beautiful eagle amongst the clouds, it's the Mount Olympus Radio Hour.